What is up, dudes and dudettes? I'd like to welcome you to It's Oddly Terrifying with Maiden. I don't know what I'm going to call this video, but I hope by the time I get through the editing process, I would have come up with something interesting. Not necessarily clickbait, but something that captures your attention. But I can definitely tell you in the last couple of days, this article has been going viral and caught a lot of people's attention out on Twitter. And we're going to find out why. We're going to dive into the misinformation going on here on this CBC article. I think it's fair to say that we should be naming this. Let's keep the acronym as is, but it shouldn't be called the Canadian Broadcast Corporation. It should be called Continuously Broadcasting Crap. But in this video, what it is we're going to talk about should be tearing the bejesus out of you. Because I have only been saying this issue about property and self-defense in the last 11 years on this fucking channel, and also offline, so it's a lot longer than simply just 11 years. And now, because of these lovely laws that are completely arbitrary and don't make sense, now some Canadians, or the situations, are going out as they are intended. The design is going according to plan. The madness is moving forth within the method. And the method is entangled with this madness. Whatever analogy you want to fucking put, or platitude, it's not working in our favor. So yes, oddly terrifying is what it is, and it is a huge fucking piss off. Yes! Self-defense is allowed in Canada. Misinformation abounds as man charged in assault of intruder lawyer. Police in Lindsay, Ontario, have faced criticism for charging man after alleged home intruder injured. This has got to be the most hilarious part of this article thus far. I have stated this joke for a while now. In Canada, life's a joke, death is the punchline. I feel like if California were its own bigger land mass times 10, it would be Canada for some fucking reason. Like, at least, like the LA version, like something like that, this shit would be fucking happening. And this is not good news at all. After a decision to charge a man for allegedly assaulting an intruder. How was one allegedly assaulting? Of course, you have to put that in there, but alright. Let's go with that. Allegedly. Allegedly assaulting an intruder in his home in Lindsay, Ontario, sparked widespread reaction this week. One criminal lawyer, oh yeah, because we could still trust these fucking guys, as a reminder for the public. Oh, please share it with me. Share your infinite wisdom, oh criminal lawyer. Self-defense is legal in Canada, but within reason. This is literally the same fucking phrase as we believe in freedom of speech, but. So, to play Al Pacino in Devil's Advocate, I rest my case. You're pretty much done at this point. Literally, like the end of the phrase, there's a period. I can end the fucking video and we're done. But there's more to the situation that needs to be talked about. And I don't want to talk about specifically the case itself. It's just the law, which is completely fucking arbitrary, needs to be broken, challenged, and disobeyed as we move forward. The Kawartha Lakes Fuzz Service has faced criticism for charging a 44-year-old man after an altercation that left the alleged intruder. Alleged intruder. Oh, I really would like to know how you're going to, like, conceptually, how does that work? An alleged intruder. Like, how is this supposed to work? And the next thing I'm reading right after it is with life-threatening injuries. Oh, well, listen, the fact that he has life-threatening injuries, I think that's pretty much a good thing. Hits the point home. Monday morning in the small town northeast of Ontario. At what point of Ontario is not in Tirana? Every time something happens is Tirana. Trouble in Tirana. Actually, it should be more like, trouble in Tirana. Yeah, let's go with that. The Fuzz have provided few details, but say the resident is facing charges for aggravated assault and assault with a weapon. And the intruder, who was also facing charges, was airlifted to hospital afterward. That has probably got to be the most friendly thing that Canadians could do. Yeah, those life-threatening injuries are not going to get you so far, but, just enough to make you be airlifted to a hospital. Because his life really fucking matters at the end of all this, allegedly, right? But the guy who was merely just defending his private property is the evil son of a bitch. The incident even prompted reaction from Cheesecake Ford, who weighed in on the case Wednesday, saying the charges against the residents show something is broken. Pretty fucking ironic coming from a dude who had his fucking car jacked. All he has to do is hire private security, and if you want to catch somebody, let's not go about listening to, I don't know who that dude was, like the head of the Tirana Police Department. His greatest advice to the residents were, you're going to need to leave the key fobs at the front door because they're after your car and they have weapons, so you're just going to have to leave that shit at the front door. Almost like you're leaving out cookies for Santa type of thing. So you know what I would do? I would leave out for Cheesecake Ford, all right? Here's what you should do. Because this guy wasn't too happy when his car got jacked, all right? What you're going to have to do is leave the fobs at the door, but you need some bait. That's the bait behind the bait. What I'm about to do, all right? There's a cheesecake. That's the bait behind the bait. And then all of a sudden, as soon as they fucking take the fucking cheesecake, you set off the fucking glitter bombs to scare them, and they will drop everything, and your key fobs are gone. Capture that thing on camera, and your private security has all the evidence, and therefore fuck around and find out type of thing, right? The dude is not dead. He was merely, probably scared to death in that incident. So, yeah, something is broken. Pretty much people's fucking minds, but let's ignore that. But Tana Kent, a criminal lawyer, this is her, I assume? Her. I seriously hope that she's not a diversity hire. So a criminal lawyer based in Tirana says public backlash against charges, including from Ford, is premature given the lack of information about the case. Well, give me something to work with. She says some of the concerns of the charges are also erroneous. Well, I like to see. I've seen numerous comments on Twitter about how there's no self-defense in Canada, when we fully have a section that deals with self-defense. Where? Because in my mind, under the criminal code, it says self-defense. Well, there's within reasonable limits. Well, no, it's not about reasonable limits, but I'll get to that in a bit. I think part of the public fear is a lot of time misinformation that is passed around online about the way the law works in Canada. Bro, I don't even think the Fuzz even know how self-defense is worked. Because it's so freaking ambiguous and skewed and defined by our lovely overlords that will eventually give us the fucking presents and a bit of coal and a kick up the ass, they know what's up. They know better than we do. If someone assaults a person by pushing them, for instance, that person can't then pick up a baseball bat and start beating them and claim self-defense, she said. That's not reasonable force. Well then, you shouldn't have pushed them then. Like, for me, that's something that I would do, even if you don't like the way it's done. You shouldn't have entered the guy's home. You know, that thing that's your sacred fucking temple? The thing that you reside in, that you're paying, regardless of the property tax, which is fucking bullshit. It's a lot more nuanced than simply just putting it down to, well, you have self-defense, but it's much more than that. But I don't want to read the entire article. I just want to get into like the nitty-gritty. The right to self-defense comes with limits. Disagree. Multiple people in Lindsay told CBC Tirana this week they felt the resident was justified in defending himself and shouldn't face legal consequences. Well, I hate to say this word, but some of those people that are on the dude's side are based, bro. They're fucking based. In my opinion, the guy's getting a rough ride, said Tom Martin, who lives with his wife and 2 children. He probably did what he thought was best to protect himself and his family and his property. I would have done the same, so I hope he gets some support. He said Canada should allow people to use any force necessary to defend your home and family. Similarly, Ford told reporters Wednesday that you should use all resources you possibly can to protect your family. But Kent says Canadians do have the right to defend themselves. That right just comes with limits. Yeah, only just a few limits, guys. After all, the Charter did say, under the guaranteed rights and freedoms, that your rights and freedoms are guaranteed. So, but at the same time, if the government feels that within reasonable limits, it might have to suspend those guaranteed fundamental rights. When you use those words in a very big context, like in a document called the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, you kind of make it sound like it's null and void. You just defeat the whole fucking purpose. It's like, oh yeah, we have freedom of speech, but kind of goes along the same lines as, listen, we're not telling you, listen, freedom of speech, it's up to you if you want to take the magic elixir, but you just can't have a job. You can't have a job. You can't go into Walmart. Although you are allowed to go to the fucking liquor store and drink yourself silly and smoke up some legal weed that you're giving the fucking state, and with all that fear porn, you're gonna need something to decompress. Get something with a good high amount of THC. It's not a situation where all of a sudden if someone's in your home, you just have to lay down and allow yourself to be assaulted, or lay down and allow yourself to be robbed, or just hope that this person leaves, Ken said. But the force has to be within reason and not excessive. I'm thinking of Star Wars when I read that. While details of the case are thin, she said some information suggests the charges against the resident may be reasonable. Not at all. Aggravated assault, for instance, is a serious charge that can involve something as severe as maiming someone. I'm not even quite sure what that is. Whatever. The alleged intruder was airlifted to the hospital. Oh, wow, poor guy. I hope he lives I hope he lives to tell the tale of his life-changing event from those life-threatening scars. Lives another day to rob and intrude onto another person's private property. His life matters. Fuck the Canadians, man. Meaning that whatever hospital in Lindsay could not deal with the injuries of whatever. So the charges against the resident have not been tested in court. Okay, so let's zoom out for a sec. Okay? Now, you guys all know where I stand when it comes to freedom of speech, private property. But for those that are new to this concept, all rights derive from property rights. And liberty itself means that you have every right to defend what is rightfully yours in every facet of your life. Physical, financial, spiritual, emotional, mental, whatever. Whatever is necessary. So it is a very easy concept to understand. You have heard online, and I've seen this online, people have said that if someone's going to come into your home, you're killing one life because you don't want you're making the person die over your stuff. Well, the problem with that argument is all he had to do was not come in. All he had to do was not intrude on someone's private property. The key word is private. The key word is private, and self-defense is a good thing. The fact that I had to sit there and read that the intruder, he's not alleged, he is an intruder. He has life-threatening injuries. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. This guy that used the right amount of whatever force it was to almost destroy this guy is a fucking hero and made the town a little bit more safe because this guy probably, if he does live another day, to start going onto other people's private property. This whole setup within reasonable limits goes against human nature. Because you know what happens? There are a few things that you as an individual will probably feel. And you don't know what's going to happen in that moment. Alright? You've heard of fight or flight. I'm going to add a few more to this. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or my personal favorite, fuck off. So technically 6 things. In that moment, you are your own first responder. You're not going to think, hey, let me call the cops. You don't know if that guy has a weapon. Sometimes they might even fake it. Because in that moment, you have no fucking clue. You're going to act on instinct, which is very normal. Okay? You have a dude that is trespassing and intruding in your, dare I say it, your safe space. I don't care what this guy used. Now, I wish that they would have gone into detail to lay out what weapon he used. But it's clearly not a fucking gun. Because if that is the case, this would have been nothing but an excuse to ban another load of firearms because of what one dude had done, because the other one didn't have any regard for this man's life. This intruder turn the homeowner into a victim. So when I say it goes against human nature, you are your own first responder, the amount of force is what it is in that moment. You don't know how you're going to react. Even if you actually destroyed the guy, he's bleeding all over, you don't know if that's going to have a negative psychological effect on you. You have no clue. And this is a fucking problem. We do not have self-defense in Canada. I don't know where this whole thing of within reason, like this concept came from. I have no fucking clue where this idea came from. Like, was it from another country that said the same thing? What, like Germany, Russia, and they brought that here because, hey, we can fuck around and we can do whatever we want type thing? Yeah, we do not have self-defense. And a lot of people were calling for castle doctrine and stand your ground laws. And I'm over here saying we always needed both. I don't care what type of force you're going to use. Use whatever it is that you fucking need. And guess what? Even if the guy used his firearm or a knife and he has life-threatening injuries, well, guess what? You're saving the taxpayers money. I mean, sort of. But just call the fucking fuzz here, pick up the body and clean up on aisle 9. That's it. You sort of helped out. Sort of didn't spend too much on the resources, but now you're making it even worse because this guy's getting fucking charged and this guy he has to go to court. So you're still wasting money in that regard. We don't have self-defense in Canada. We like, at what point, how bad does it have to get in this stupid fucking country where Canadians' lives are being ruined because of these types of laws? Because of this arbitrary nonsense. I've stated this in the past, and it doesn't matter which side of the fucking border you're on when it comes to the United States or Canada. Self-defense is self-defense. Self-defense is fine. You gotta do what you gotta fucking do. It's my life over the other guy. Abso-fucking-lutely. You fuck around and you find out. But the guy who is the homeowner shouldn't be getting screwed like this. I agree. And it's nice to see some smart Torontonians. Despite them being fucking arrogant, because they think they're the center of the universe, some of them are on my side for this. But I feel like we should have had this discussion a long ass time ago, so I hope that the dude is not going to go to jail, not going to get charged for this. I think it's a too bad, so sad sort of situation. You come in my house, you're done. It just goes against human nature. Within reason. Well, what is so reasonable about a dude just trespassing in my fucking house? He shouldn't have done that, so now he has to face the fucking consequences. Never mind that he got airlifted to the fucking hospital. Let him croak for all I care. But yeah, I honestly hope that this is going to cook up a little bit of a storm, but moving forward, I don't know how bad it has to get that a lot of Canadians are going to have their lives ruined for merely claiming self-defense. And that's what I mean. If we lived in a society where private property was enshrined and highly valued, I'm not saying shit like this wouldn't happen, but we all know the onus and the responsibility and the accountability is actually out on the person who's the perpetrator, not the one who is merely being proactive and reacting out of instincts. That's the thing. So yeah, but this don't look too good, and it's definitely oddly terrifying. Peace out.